8 years ago, Boots Riley dropped Sorry to Bother You into the cinematic landscape like a Molotov cocktail wrapped in an absurd telemarketing script. It was loud, confrontational, and deeply unconcerned with making the ruling class feel comfortable. But what if I told you his follow-up, I Love Boosters, makes his first film look like a safe corporate training video? We are living in an era where mainstream movies feel visually sterile, drowned in flat digital lighting and risk-free storylines. But I Love Boosters does something radical. It turns systemic economic dread into a vibrant sci-fi heist comedy. It features a giant rolling snowball made entirely of unpaid debt bills, a corporate skyscraper that literally tilts at a 30-degree angle because the system is crooked, and a plot that drops a literal teleportation device into the middle of a shoplifting ring. It is messy, it is beautiful, and it might just be the most ambitious cinematic swing of the decade. Today, we're going to look past the neon aesthetics and break down exactly how Boots Riley uses maximalist surrealism to dissect the moral rot of the luxury fashion industry, and why this beautiful, chaotic script is dividing audiences everywhere. Our protagonist, Corvette, played by the phenomenal Kiki Palmer, is a grassroots fashion designer who squats in an abandoned fast food joint. Yet, she is dressed impeccably. Why? Because Corvette, alongside her crew Sade and Mariah, the Velvet Gang, are professional shoplifters. But in the gospel according to Boots Riley, they aren't just thieves. They are practicing what they call fashion-forward philanthropy. They steal high-end, overpriced luxury streetwear from corporate giant Metro and sell it back to the community at a fraction of the cost. It's Robin Hood, if Robin Hood wore custom aquamarine silk jackets and operated out of the Bay Area. Riley's writing has always operated on what we can call Hanna-Barbera logic, an absurdist sandbox where the rules of reality bend to serve the weight of the political metaphor. The plot kicks off when Corvette realizes that Christy Smith, the cutthroat fashion mogul played with terrifying, venomous glee by Demi Moore, has flat-out stolen Corvette's grassroots clothing designs and rebranded them for Metro. But where Sorry to Bother You maintained a tight, escalation-based narrative structure, the script for I Love Boosters is significantly more unwieldy. About halfway through the film, the heist narrative completely fractures when they meet Jin-Hoo, an overseas garment factory worker who has magically escaped her conditions using a literal teleportation device. Suddenly, a Robin Hood shoplifting story becomes a sci-fi caper. The gang decides to use the device to beam Christie's entire inventory straight out of the stores and back to the factory workers overseas, giving them the material collateral they need to successfully strike. Online reviews and public consensus have been heavily divided on this narrative pivot. On Letterboxd and Film Twitter, a vocal contingent argues that the introduction of sci-fi jargon and sprawling subplots, like Don Cheadle's sequence as a prosthetic-heavy, pyramid-scheming grifter, causes the film to devolve into a chaotic game of Calvin Ball. The narrative plates start spinning so fast that the film's emotional center occasionally gets buried under the weight of its own ideas. But even when the screenplay threatens to burst at the seams, it is held together by sheer, unfiltered ambition. Riley doesn't write movies to be clean, he writes them to be felt. To understand the visual language of Boosters, we have to look at who is behind the camera. Riley teamed up with cinematographer Natasha Breyer, known for her hyper-stylized, neon-drenched work on The Neon Demon. Where Sorry to Bother You relied on a gritty, indie guerrilla texture to mirror Cassius Green's existential dread, I Love Boosters is a masterpiece of maximalist pop art.
Give it to me. It's mine anyway.
Riley and Breyer opt for tactile, physical creativity. They use practical miniatures for car chases and charmingly hand-tooled stop-motion sequences. Shirley Kurata's costume design draws a sharp visual battle line. Metro Corporate is monochromatic, cold, and sterile, symbolizing commodification and exploitation. Meanwhile, the Velvet Gang is explosive, DIY, and multi-layered, representing creative autonomy and working-class vitality. The film uses these vivid pops of color, like Corvette's signature aquamarine, as a form of visual protest. The aesthetic is the argument. The luxury industry strips the soul out of art to mass-produce it using underpaid global labor. The boosters reclaim that art, injecting color back into a bleak economic reality. Of course, an ensemble cast in a maximalist film faces a distinct danger, being entirely swallowed by the set design. And to be perfectly fair, Riley's script doesn't give everyone equal room to breathe. Naomi Ackie's Sade and Taylor Page's Mariah are deeply charismatic, but their individual emotional arcs are often sidelined. We learn crucial details about their lives, like Sade trying to support a child, in passing dialogue lines rather than letting the narrative sit with them. But the film completely survives this because of Keke Palmer. Palmer delivers a great performance as Corvette. She anchors the entire film's tonal shifts, beautifully portraying the bone-deep weariness of a hustler who just wants something greater. She grounds the absurdity. And then there's Lakeith Stanfield. Playing a discount brand model with a bizarre, untraceable accent and a hypnotic, unblinking stare, he brings a distinct, surreal flavor that perfectly complements Demi Moore's delightfully cartoonish corporate villainy. Ultimately, I Love Boosters is a film that demands you surrender to its dreamlike logic. Is it perfect? No. It tries to say everything all at once, tackling unionization, systemic debt, creative theft, global labor rights, and teleportation in under 2 hours. The narrative plane doesn't so much land as it gracefully crashes into a crowd of protesters. But in a theatrical ecosystem that is tragically safe, Boots Riley's cinema is a gift. He uses whimsy, satire, and gorgeous visuals to deliver a deeply earnest, poignant call for collective solidarity. He reminds us that art doesn't belong to the gatekeepers in the tilted buildings. It belongs to the people who create it. If you love cinema that takes massive risks and refuses to play by Hollywood's boring, predictable rules, then you need to see this movie. What did you think of the sci-fi twist with the teleportation device? Did it pull you out of the heist, or did you think it was a stroke of genius? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button right now. It tells the algorithm that original independent film analysis matters. Share this video with a friend who loves weird movies, and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We've got some incredible script breakdowns and director profiles coming up next week that you absolutely do not want to miss. Thank you for supporting the channel, keep watching great films, and I'll see you in the next frame. Peace.